Okay, recording is starting. So, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hi, good morning, guys. How are you today?
Good morning.
Fine, thank you. Alright, so thank you for joining me on this training session for day 1. Okay, this is about AILS, AFREIGHT Integrated Logistics Systems. Okay, so I will be a trainer. My name is Deepa, but you can call me Iji. Okay, so for these 4 days, I will be a trainer, and each day we will spend about 2 hours to do this training. Okay, so today we will start with module 1. So before that, I want you to sign your attendance. Okay, and then you can pass it around. I will give you some time to write down your name and then signature.
Okay.
Alright, thank you so much. Okay, so in order to start today's session, okay, we will start with icebreaker according to our plan. Alright, our icebreaker today we call it as speed networking. Speed networking meaning I just want you guys to give a brief introduction about yourself, where are you from, and that's it. Nothing much. Okay? So starting with participant number 1.
Okay. Morning all. My name is Shafika. I am 28 years old and I'm from Bangi.
Oh, okay. Alright. Thank you, Shafika.
Okay, hi and good morning all. My name is Naratika Parana. You just can call me like Atika. Okay, I'm from Surabaya, Negeri Sembilan.
Okay, hi.
Okay, hi Pak DJ.
Alright. So you guys like Shafika and Atika, yeah? So we will try to remember your names. Alright.
Yes.
So are you guys good to go? Can we start?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, yeah? Okay. So today we will start with module 1. Okay. Before that, I would just like to give you a brief introduction what is AFREIGHT is all about. Okay. So this is a freight forwarding system used by our logistic industry. So logistic industry, they have very few sites or departments that is under logistics. So one of it is freight and forwarders. We also have haulages, we have transports. So one of it is freight and forwarding. They deal with a lot of documentations and things like that. So in order to facilitate them to do their job faster, instead of relying on emails and WhatsApps to do their work, we have AILS system, we call it AFREIGHT system, in order to help them to minimize using paperwork, folders, and then use the system to enhance the work that they do. Okay, so this is what our AFREIGHT system is all about, and we are going to look into this for 4 days. Okay, so the program objective. Okay, I hope by the end of the session you too will be able to understand the system. Okay, that means how to use the AFREIGHT system efficiently. Okay, I hope that you will be able to discover the processes that will help you to do your work better. Okay, and then this, I hope that it will allow you to create your job and then to do your reporting faster. At least it will be easier for you to answer your managements and things like that. Alright? Okay, so I will be covering module 1, which is understanding primary data entry. You guys can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Alright, great. So let me know if you want to stop me, or if you can't see anything, you can just stop me and let me know.
Okay.
Thank you. Alright, so module 1, understanding primary data entry. So what is primary data entry? Okay, so as the name suggests, it's about entering data into the system. Without any data, you can't use this Asolute freight system. That means you need to set up certain things in the Asolute system in order to start using the system. So the first thing that you need to do is setting up the primary data entry. Alright? So the first thing that we are going to look at is classifying business partner, and then after that we will look into structuring charge code, and once we have done that we will be looking into maintaining port area and attributing the exchange rate. Okay, any questions so far? Are you guys okay?
Okay.
So far, okay.
Alright.
So for today, only these 4 items, right?
Yes, for module 1 it will be only these things.
Okay.
Alright? Alright, so we will look into module 1 first, which is classifying business partner. Okay, so classifying business partner, I will explain to you how do you create a business partner in the system, how do you assign the roles in the business partner, how do you select which customer or whoever that you are looking for in the business partner, and then how to determine what to do with the business partner. Okay, so this is a screenshot of the system. Alright, so now since this is a system related training, I will exit this PowerPoint for a moment and then we'll show you the actual system how it looks like.
Okay.
Alright, so from here we will look into the system. So this is how the system looks like. Okay, from this Asolute, we will click here and then we will go into business partner. Okay, so this will be the business partner screen. Alright, so for the business partner, the first thing that we would like to do is how do you select or search for business partner in the system. So before you do that, let's say the system is empty, no data, right? So how do you create the data in the business partner? So in order to do that, first things first is, if you notice, we have all these yellow fields, which is mandatory fields, meaning you need to key in the information into the business partner. So the system also allows you to automatically generate the partner ID, or you can key in the partner ID if you have it, depending on how your business nature is. Okay, so for example, you are keying in one partner ID, and then we go into the partner naming. Okay, so you can just key in the partner information. It is a free text. Alright, so you can key in as long as you want for the partner name, but partner ID is limited to 10 characters. Alright, okay, so once you have key in the partner name, in the business partner, you can actually assign multiple roles for the business partner. Meaning, for example, you want to create a customer information, customer. Let's say your customer is also your vendor. Alright, so instead of creating multiple same information in the business partner, normally outside system, that's what they do. I want to create business partner, I want to create customer, they create customer 1, done. And then they want to create, the same person is a vendor, the same organization is a vendor, then you're like, okay, I need to create a vendor, then they will create again a vendor. So it's 2 works. So to minimize your work, Asolute system, what it does, it allows you to assign the partner roles. So under this partner roles, what you have customer, you have shipper, you have consignee, you have vendor, yard, everything. Meaning, once you have created this business partner, you can maintain one information with multiple roles. So it makes your job very easy. So maybe the first time you might find it difficult to create the data again, like one time, maybe many things that you need to create, but it only takes you one time to create. After you have created, done, you can start using the system to create jobs and whatnot. Okay, so let's say I select customer and then I shipper and consignee, and then I just click OK. That's it. I have done assigning multiple roles for this business partner. I can also choose one role or multiple roles. Up to me. System will allow you to do that. Okay? And then this entity is the entity for the system. Alright? So once you have done inputting this information, the system also doesn't want you to key in a lot of information. information. That means not everything is mandatory. So minimum information is required to set up the business partner. That's it. Okay, and then you can key in the address, and then you can assign the area code. Okay, just double click, and then you can just click on the save button here, and you can save the information. Okay, let's allow this. Alright, so record saved successfully means the system has created one's business partner. Done. Okay, so this is how you create a business partner. Alright, and then let's say you now have already started using the system, you already have the data in the system. That means you already have all the business partner lists in the system. How do you search or look for the business partner? So in the system, we have few places where you can actually search for the business partner. One is by the folder. That means you can already categorize or assign the business partner by the role, so you can search by customer, shipper, consignee and whatnot, depending on how you want to search it. Or you can also search by this small 3 dots here. You can see the whole records of the business partner. So you have 2 ways to search the business partner in the system. Okay, so far so good?
So far.
So good. Okay, so we have looked at classifying business partner in creating, assigning and then selecting. And how do you determine which business partner you want to create in the business partner screen? That depends on your existing workflow in your company. Meaning, if you have existing customer, then that's how you determine this is supposed to be under partner role customer. If you have vendor, then you will determine that as a vendor data. That's how you do it. Okay, so far okay?
Okay.
Alright, so that is business partner. So we have seen how to create. Any questions on creating? Can understand? Right? And then we have seen how to assign the roles to the business partner, which is the customer. Yes.
Is there a limit for partner rules? I mean, it's minimum to have one, right? Is there a limit number of partner rules?
No, because each customer, or we call it each business partner, we already have this set of partner roles here that you can assign. That means you can assign more than one. But each business partner will have this amount of partner roles. So if you have new business partner, then you need to create by clicking on the plus button, and then you just key in the partner names and then assign the partner roles accordingly.
Okay, I have a question. What about if just now, sample just now is we click on the partner ID by ourselves. But what if you want the system to generate the ID?
Okay, so if you want the system to generate the ID, you can see here we have system to generate new ID check button. Okay, so if you click on this check button, what will happen? You don't need to key in the partner ID here, but you can straight away jump and create the partner name straight away. So the system will generate the partner ID based on the first letter of your business partner. Let's say you create business partner Temu. Okay, so it will take T as the first letter, and then it will generate following running number behind the first letter. Maybe example T00001. It will be like that. So if you create a business partner name as customer 1, then it will take the first letter C and then it will generate 00002. It will keep going in that manner. So when you search for your partner ID, once you have created your business partner, in this field here you can key in, let's say Temu just now, right? So you can just type in and then search for your customer name here. If you know the partner ID number, then you can just key in the partner ID number and then it will prompt you this list. It works just like how you search in your Google. So when you search for certain letter, it will prompt you all these whichever that matches your search criteria. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so this is for classifying business partner in the system. So once you have set up this business partner in Asolute AFREIGHT system, then you can move on to the next, which you will be able to select the business partner in order to create the jobs later. This is related to freight forwarders. Freight forwarders, this is what they do. When they have, when you are looking at their physical way of doing work, they have a list of customers, they have a list of vendors, shippers and consignee in their hard copy paper, and then they will receive orders, they call it orders or jobs, that's the term that they use for freight forwarders. So when they receive this order from their customer, so what they need to do is to create a job based on the booking order that they receive. That's what they call it as. Okay, so without the system, they will manually create it in Excel sheet or in their document, everything they need to type in again. Then they need to search for the business partner, they need to type everything. So what will happen when they do that is typo, a lot of misinformation, because different people will be doing the different jobs. So when one person is handling it, minimum error. But when you go for a bigger group, bigger people is many people is handling the job, then you will have many more errors, human error to happen. So when you are using Asolute system, what happens is that you are minimizing the errors, that you are the human error that you are doing and typing. Once you have set up in the business partner, all user need to do is select. So one person will be in charge to set up. So when you do that, you are minimizing the human error already. And also you are minimizing the number of the time required in order to do the jobs. Okay? Alright. So this is for the first part, which is classifying business partner. Okay? The next part will be structuring charge code. Okay, so what is charge code? Charge code in the system you need to set up in order to do your billings later. Okay, this system also has billings. That means you can create your job, you can create all your master data, and then you can create your job, and after that you can also do your billings, whichever that you need to bill your customers later on. Okay, so once they have given you the booking, you have done the work for them, you have provided the service for them, you want to charge your customer for the service that you have done. So in order to do that, first things first, as I said, primary data entry. That means you need to have this information in order for you to select it later. Okay, so what do you do in the structuring of charge code? First thing, you need to know how to construct your charge code. That means how do you, when you have your existing work right now, you already have your list of charges that you are already charging your customers. So maybe example, you have forwarding charges, document charges, EDI charges. How do you construct all that in the system? First things first, you need to determine what is the charges about, and then you construct it, and after that you can name the charges in the system and key accordingly. So once you have done that, then you will be able to name it. Okay, so let's look into how to do that in the system. Okay, so I will close this screen and open up charge code. Okay, so this is the charge code screen. Okay, so if I click new, here we'll have empty information for you to create new charge code. We already have for this is a sample, so I want to show you how do you create if you don't have the data yet in the system. So how do you determine and everything is from your existing job. So from the service that you provide to your customer, you should know what kind of charges you want to charge your customer based on the service that you're giving. Okay? So example, you have additional handling. For freight forwarders, maybe additional handling of their containers and things like that. So you should know what kind of charges that you want to create in the job in the system, so that you will be able to select and pick them accordingly. Okay, so how the namings goes, the same thing. We have charge code and description. Meaning, for charge code, you can set up whichever name that you prefer to put in your code. Easy to read and understand by your users. Okay, so if you just put charge code as 1, 2, 3, 4, nobody knows what the charges is all about. So naming is very important in your charge code. So if you can put a short form of handling HAND, people will know, okay, this is the handling charges, something like that. Charge code field there is limited, so you can make use of the short form that you can give for your description. The description can be long, so it should be something that can be understood by all your users. Okay, so when your users are going to use the system, other than you guys, maybe you have your juniors who join the system, the company and things like that. So when they look back into the system, you already set up the data. So if you set up the data wrongly, then when new people come in and use the system, they won't be able to understand what are they selecting and picking in the system. Okay, so that's why the naming convention is very, very important. Alright, so this description you can give a nice, long, understandable description. Alright? Okay, so the next thing we are going to look at is saving. Okay, you can, once you have once you know how to name your charge code, how do you categorize your charge code and then the description and everything, of course you need to save the data inside the charge code master data. Okay, don't forget to save. Once you have saved, then you will be able to see all this list of information in the system. Okay, so other than that, you have the service billing of unit, charge type and charge pattern. Okay, charge type will always depend on the services that you are going to select for the charge code. That means if you are providing a trucking service or you are providing a haulage service, so your charge type will depend on the type of service that you're going to provide. So for example, if I am providing a haulage service, my charge type will be either hard or haulage. So what is hard or haulage? Hard charge type means I don't want to bother whether the container is moving from point A to point B. So I just want to charge my container based on one job. So I just set it as hard type. That means you can, this container or this truck can be moving from multiple locations. I don't bother, I just want to charge it 100 ringgit, for example. So I need to set up the charge code as charge type hard. But if let's say I choose as transport or haulage based on the service type, if I choose the charge type as haulage or trucking, then when my container or my truck is moving from point A to point B, I want to charge the truck 100 ringgit. So from point B to point C, I want to charge 200 ringgit. So in order to tell the system, this is how I want to charge for this service, then I need to set it as transport or haulage. Depends on the service. Okay? Alright? So these are the things that you need to take note in order to create your charge code master. Because if you set it up wrongly, then it will be a mess when you do your billing. Okay? Because name must be correct. If you're naming it wrongly, then you're choosing the wrong charge code, then your charge type will also be wrong. Your billings to your customer will be wrong. So that is why it is important to name and save it correctly. Okay? Any questions for structuring of charge code so far? I think should be fine. Yeah? So anything else, then we will do it in the Q&A session. Alright? So this is for the structuring of charge code. So if you want to know further on this, you can also have, the records is unlimited. So you can keep saving and adding as much as you want for the charge code master. Okay, and then the picking will be simple. Picking means you're picking the right charge code when you're doing your billing later. That we will cover in another module. I will show you how do you do billing based on the charge code that you have set up here in the system. Okay, so all you need to do is take note of how do you construct your charge code first, in how the one that you have in your hands, and then you need to key into the system correctly by naming it. You might have normally for users, depending on their company, when they have not used any system yet, the naming convention of the charge code will be very messy, because they will go based on the customer that they have. Any order that they receive, they might create new, they write, and then they just go about it. But when it comes to system, make sure you have come up with your team, construct a nice list of charge code. Okay, you have to discuss, you have to communicate, you have to finalize, and then you have to construct it nicely, and then you have to set up one person to name and key in correctly all the charge code. So once you have done that, then the next thing for other users to pick and go about the meaning shouldn't be a problem. Okay? Alright. So the next one, we're going to look at maintaining port area. Okay? So port area for freight and forwarders, when they are doing their job, that means when they receive the orders or booking from the customer, they need to look at the port and area codes. That means if they are doing shipping related sea freight or air freight, depends on the type of bookings that they receive from their customer, they need to know what kind of ports that is available, what kind of shipping that arrives in their port, what is the name of the port, what is the shipping ship name, and maybe the delivery places that they are going to deliver the container to, what is the code for the areas. All these freight forwarders must know. So imagine doing all that without a system. That means you have to physically go and have a physical paper record on your desk, and you have to know what your customer is asking, and you need to quickly do your work. Okay, so now with Asolute AFREIGHT system, we have a list that we already have provided in the system. That means by default, you already have a set of records in the system. So all user need to do is add on to the list and maintain the list. That's it. So you don't have to like sit and key in anymore. We have done that for you. All you need to do is maintain the data and add on to the existing list. So how do you search for the existing records in the system? I will show you the first one. Okay. Let me close this and open up port area. Okay, so this is port area. We have for multiple countries, not only Malaysia, we already have for other countries as well. So for Malaysia, of course, you will have more records compared to other countries. Okay, so for Malaysia right now, we have 515 records. So under Malaysia country here, you can also, we have a search field here where you can search for the existing name. So how do you search for the existing name? You can type, just like how I showed you in business partner, same thing. It works the same way, just type in whatever name that you are looking for, it will show you. Okay, so the records here, you can see we have Seremban, Air Hitam, anything, and all of the records goes by code. So that's why we call it port area, and it goes by code, because when you do your business partner, when you're setting up a business partner, if you're doing a billing and things like that, you will, the job will be based on the area code. Any delivery, any shipping details will be based on the port name and also the area code that you are going to deliver your request. Okay, so that's why maintaining this information is very important. You need to assign a person from your team in order to sit and take care of this data in the system. That means you cannot let anybody else to touch it. Don't simply go and edit and everything. So one person needs to sit here and maintain the data accordingly. So any new request to add on into the list, then that person needs to go and find the person who's in charge of maintaining the port area. So you tell them, okay, I want to add this into this list, and then the person can just sit there and add it accordingly. So that when other people are using the system, there won't be any wrong data entered. Okay? Alright, and then how do you add port area into the system? Okay, very simple, very straightforward. Okay, so you just have to click the plus button here. Okay, and then you need to make sure you are selecting the correct country. Most of the time when I conduct the training for other users, after the training session, when I let them to create the port area, what happens is that, let's say I tell them, okay, I want you to create port area for China, and this is the name. Most of the time what happens is that they will always forget to choose the correct country, and then they will straight away go and key in the information. So when you look for the information again, it will be under the wrong country. Okay, so I want to just highlight that so that you guys don't forget when you are doing this later. Okay, so when you're creating or adding the port area into the screen, you need to make sure you are selecting the correct country. Okay, so from the drop down, we already have the list of countries. So let's say you are adding port area that doesn't exist in this list. So you choose Malaysia. Okay, but before adding, please have the habit of checking in the list whether the area code is already there or not, because you don't want duplicate data in the system. Maybe the same data, different spelling, then you will have two duplicate data, then you will be having confusion when you're selecting the area later. So when you create a building, the display will be different. Okay, so search first whether the information is there. If it's there, then you need to check whether it is assigned to the correct area or not. Which means whether it's correct airport, seaport, haulage, trucking or free zone. You need to see which is checked under this list here. Okay, and then you just can key in the port code area. So how do we do the naming for the code? Normally for Malaysia, we go by the state name. So example, if we are creating area for Johor, and then we have Batu Pahat, example. So you will start your port code with JH, which is Johor, and then 001 if it's the first one, 001, and then the description will be Batu Pahat, something like that. But this is not a strict guideline. Okay, this is an example that I give you. So if you already have a code that you are already following, then you can follow the same thing. Maybe yours is MY and then JH. That is Malaysia, Johor, and then what is the running number, and then your description. It's really up to you, very flexible. There's no standard way of following. Because normally for port area, you can't Google the codes. But port, you can Google the code. Like for the vessels, normally they will have the terminal codes for each country. So for that, you can Google and get the correct terminal code, and then you can key in the information. Okay? Alright, so that is for the adding. Okay? Searching, I already explained to you. So how do you check if the information that you are keying in for the port area is correct or not? Google. Malaysia areas that you need to know which area that you're looking for, because normally for trucking or haulage, if they're delivering your goods, your customer goods from one place to another, they will have the information of the delivery areas. So you can get from them, okay? That means you can get the name from your customer and then you can check it online, just Google the name, you can get the correct name. Once you get the correct name, you can key into the system already. So even though your customer is giving you a short form or wrong information on the delivery place, at least you'll be able to check it and update it accordingly into the port area in the system. So that when you do the billing later, the display of the address will be correct. Okay? So can you delete any information that you have entered in the port area? Definitely you can. Because this system is catered for the users, not for me. We are the service provider. We are providing this system to you. So if you think let me just make it big. If you think the information list in this system is not correct, is not up to what you are currently doing, then you can delete the information and key in a fresh one. because this is depending on your business structure, not mine. So this is a sample that we give you, but whether you want to keep and maintain the same data or you want to delete and add new is up to you. We don't control on that. We don't have a strict guideline on if this is what you have to follow. But we already give you a record. It's up to you to choose whether or not to follow. Okay? Alright? So that's about it. And then also once you have created the data inside the pod area, you can also see who have modified the system, who have keyed in the information, and then what is the modified time and things like that. So why do we have that is because since you are dedicating this for one person to maintain the information here, anybody goes in and try to, let's say somebody new join your company and then they don't know, they are not supposed to touch the information and you forgot to not give the access rights to them. Okay, so they just go and maybe they want to rename something inside. So they go and rename, and then you, when you are doing your work, when you're selecting the pod area, you notice that the name is different. And then you're wondering who has done that, who has changed the information in the system. So how do you go and check it? We have a record here to show you who has last modified the information in the system and on what time. So this will serve you as a record and the purpose of like tracing back on your users. So each users will have each login access. So by that we will be able to track who is doing what in the system. Any changes, edit, we will be able to log it. So there's no chance of saying that I don't know from your system, from your users. Okay? So this will be able to help you in, not to say catching your users, but to maintain a proper structure in your work. Okay? Alright? So when you delete something from this list, let's say you want the list back. That means you accidentally deleted something, but it is very important. You can either create it back, but if you think there's a lot of information that has been deleted, you want it to be able to be available again in the system, you can request from us, the service provider, so that we can request from our developer to make it available again. But that is a special request, only for something that is critical. Okay? But in terms of deleting and editing, no problem. You can just delete and add on accordingly. Okay? Any questions so far? Quite straightforward, right? Maintaining. Okay? Alright. So the next one would be exchange rate. Okay? So what is this exchange rate is all about? Normally when it comes to freight forwarding business, you are not really going to trade in Malaysian ringgit. You will also have customers from other countries. The most near customer that you will have is Singapore, okay? And depending on who your customer is, it can be US, China, anyone. You want to bill them in their currency. So in order to do that, our system have this exchange rate screen where you can save or you can create all the exchange rate that you want to bill each customer accordingly. So let's say you want to bill your Singapore customer in SGD and you want to know the exact rate. That means today's date, what is the exchange rate? Either you can key in manually, that means you can search online, and if your customer is telling you, okay, this is the exchange rate for today, you can get that information and then you can key in the screen. Okay, that is one way. If you are not going to request us to provide you a daily list of exchange rate from Bank Negara, we also have this option where this Asolute system can able to download the information from the Bank Negara and then display in the screen. So every day you will have new exchange rate according to the Bank Negara exchange rate. So if you want for USD, SGD, any other exchange rate, whichever that the bank negara has, it will automatically be displayed here. So if you are doing that, then everyday billing will the exchange rate will change according to what bank negara has displayed here. But if you are going to handle it manually, that means you don't want that service of displaying the everyday exchange rate in the screen, then you have to manually go and key in the exchange rate in the screen. So that it will capture, the system will capture this rate, and then when you're doing the billing, then it will display that correctly. So when you do your billing, it will capture that exchange rate. Okay, that's one way. Another way is you can manually also set up your exchange rate. That means you can edit your exchange rate in your invoices later. That means if you don't want to key in here, you can just go into your invoice screen and you can edit them manually, depending on what exchange rate that you want to key in for your customer. Some people, they prefer that they maintain a standard exchange rate. Maybe for this month, they just want to maintain one exchange rate. Even though the current market exchange rate is going up and down, they don't want to follow that. They just want to give the customer one flat rate. So USD, let's say 4.5. For this whole month, they just want to maintain 4.5, then they will just give that to the customer. Maybe if the current market is 4.2, also they don't care. They just want to maintain. If it's 4.8, also they don't bother. They still maintain 4.5. So you can set it up in the exchange rate screen. So that's why we have this option here, and then we let the option up to you, how you want to utilize this exchange rate. Okay, so how do you view this exchange rate? First in the screen. Okay, it looks something like this. Okay, alright, so this one is empty, so you need to check on this box here, only show code with exchange rate. So it will show you all the exchange rate that we have. Okay, so all you need to do is select which exchange rate that you want to key in and maintain. So let's say it's SGD, so you key in what is the exchange rate here. Maybe it's 3.1 example only, right? So I'll just update here and then that's it. It will follow this. If I don't set up the expiry date for this exchange rate, then forever it will just follow this. That means as and when I'm doing the billing, it will just follow this currency. So if I want the system to follow new, then I come in again and then I edit again here. So I don't set up the expiry date. But if I set up the expiry date for 1 month, example, so by end of this month, this will be the exchange rate value. So the following month, it will not capture this. You need to go and set up new. Okay? Alright, so that's how you view. So verifying, let me just put this bigger. Okay, so verifying and validating the exchange rate, as I explained earlier, you need to tell us or let us know, your service provider, whether you want us to directly download from Bank Negara. That way you can verify and validate and you can trust Bank Negara. Of course, you're not going to go and question them. Their exchange rate is what as per it is. So you can verify and validate it, and you can just give this to a customer, nobody's going to question you. The only problem will happen if you are the one manually go and key in the exchange rate. Then maybe your customer will question you whether this is the correct one you're following. But how do you do that? You cannot just simply go and, okay, I want to give today 4.5. I want to give 5.5 today. You cannot. Of course not. The extra work there is you need to go and Google the current market exchange rate. So that's the extra work that you need to do to verify and validate what exchange rate that you're giving to your customers. So that nobody will come and like, hello, excuse me, your exchange rate is 5.5 for USD. This is not the current market value. Then you will have issues. Okay? Alright, so editing, of course you can edit the data in the exchange rate. Okay, that is not a problem. Okay, editing is not a huge deal. You can always come here and change the information, and then you can just put in the here, then you can just save it again as and when you require to do that.
The exchange rate
Okay, example, now you already set up the exchange rate in the system already, and then you're doing your first invoice. That invoice will capture this exchange rate that you set up. Okay, and then once you have done the first invoice done, you have printed out, finished, and then you go and edit the exchange rate to another value. Okay, but when you print out the existing invoice, it will not capture the new one. It will still follow the one that you have set up previously. Okay, so when you are creating a new invoice, then the new invoice will follow the new value. It will not follow the old value, of course, obviously. So that's where the discrepancy will come in. That means there will be two different values for the same day invoice. But also, it's not wrong because it's up to how you want to bill your customer. Maybe some customer you feel like, okay, flat rate I can give you without with this, just this value. Some customer you want to strictly follow the online value because they will question you later. So for that, you can edit this information here. But if you don't want your users, maybe you are the super user, you have your juniors who are also going to use the system, you don't want anyone to go and disturb this information, then you can remove the access right for them from not viewing or touching this data in the system. They can do the billing, they can still see the rate, but they won't be able to edit the information, the rate, they cannot change the value. So there is access rights where we can set up it according to that. Okay? Alright. Okay, so you can also remove the information if you have, let's say, you don't want the system to follow this exchange rate. That means you want to set this up, but then you want to do it manually on the invoice itself. Then you can just go to the invoice. Okay, let's say I just show you an example. Okay, so here you can see the exchange rate is 4.35 for this invoice. Okay, so we have a field here where we also call it as exchange rate. So here you will be able to edit the information instead of setting up earlier. So this one you have to like go one by one and then edit one information and one information. Each invoice you can edit for the exchange rate.
Even if we have set up, can we
Correct. Even if you have set up in this screen here, you can still, what will happen is that once you have set up in the exchange rate, system will first read the rate that you set up in the exchange rate. It will capture that first. System will capture the first rate. But system also will allow you to edit that particular information. That means maybe the current exchange rate is 4.5, but since one or two customers only require a flat rate, example, you want to edit that information, then you can edit it in the customer invoice exchange rate here. You can do that. Because the reason is, this exchange rate is set up for all your customers. But just for one or two customers, you want to edit it, so no problem. Unless you only have one or two customers who strictly follow the exchange rate, but the rest of the customer doesn't require this setup, then you don't have to set it up here. You straight away can key in here. What will happen is, when you select the currency as USD, system will display here as 00000 because no information coming from the exchange rate. You didn't set up. So when you do that, then you can key in the exchange rate according to whatever value that you need. Okay? Alright? Any questions for anything else you want to ask for the exchange rate? So far now. Okay, so how are you doing so far for the modules? Easy to follow? How's the system? How do you feel?
Okay.
So it seems very straightforward.
Very straightforward. You think it will help you in using your burden, reducing your burden in doing jobs in your everyday instead of doing the manual way and everything?
Yes, I think yes.
because it's like you're just like keying in one time and then after that, that's it. So all you need to do is appoint somebody from your team, okay? You have to appoint someone who will be able to collect your current company information, okay? List it down in Excel format, and then you see whether you want to key in the data one by one into the system, or you want our help, Asalute's help, to import the information into your system. We can also do that for you. So once we have import, that means instead of you keying the information into the system and we help you to import the data, then you just need to maintain and edit according to what you need. That means once we have pumped in the data inside the system, the information will be available. You don't have to key in anything already. All you need to do is go in and check whether the information that we have imported is correct or not. If it's not correct, you can edit the information still. So you can take your time and sit and check one by one. But then that's the thing, you need to sit with your team, you need to discuss, and then you need to appoint somebody who's in charge of business partner. Let me just show you again. Who's in charge of from business partner. So you need to appoint one person for the business partner, and then you need to appoint somebody who's in charge of charge code. Normally will be a billing team who's doing the billing. They should know what kind of charges that your company has at the time. So maybe if you're from the operations side, you might not know what charges that are needed. So you need somebody from your billing team to handle the charge code. Okay. And then for port area, I think for your operation team should know whether what kind of port area that they need, whether they are okay with the codes, the namings and everything, whether they are okay. Alright? And then for the exchange rate, also your billing or your finance should know whether they want to set this up or not. Whether this will be helpful for them to set up in time, or you want to request from us to pump in the data from Bank Negara. So once that is available, then you have nothing much to do, just can sit and monitor the values here. Okay? Alright, so any questions? If you don't have questions, then I will question you. Okay, so let me just recap again. Alright, so let me just do a small recap for you guys. So we started off with module 1, right? Understanding primary data. So this data is important for you to use the system. Before using the system, you need to have certain kind of data in the system in order for you to use the system. Okay, so we have looked at classifying business partners, structuring of charge code, how to maintain your port area, and then how to check and validate all your exchange rate from your current market value or manually done by you. Okay, so we have looked into classifying business partner, which is creating, assigning, selecting and determining which kind of business partner that you need to create. You need to select which role, you need to assign customer, vendor accordingly, and then how to key in the data, which is the creating of data. Okay, then we also have looked into structuring of charge code. Okay, I have spoke to you about how you and your team need to know how to structure, that means list out all your charges and name it in a way that can be understandable by all your users. Not only you, but everyone should understand what kind of charges that you are going to key in the system. Okay, and then we have seen port area, how to search, how to check, how to add and delete. This also you need to assign somebody from your team in order to maintain this information. Don't let anyone else to touch the information. If not, it will be a duplicate data, or your misspelling and everything will happen, and then it will lead to like wrong information displayed in your invoice format or anything. Okay, and then the last part we have seen on your exchange rate for your finance team or your billing team. Then this will, you need to discuss and let us know how they want to go about in setting up this exchange rate for them. Okay, all right. Good so far.
Clear.
Clear? Okay. So if all clear, then I will ask you. First question, alright? Can user assign multiple roles in business partner? Who wants to answer this? Atika or Shafika? Okay, Atika. So can we assign multiple roles in business partner?
Yes, can be assigned more than one.
Okay, so what kind of roles that we can actually
For
assign?
example, like maybe that business partner ID is under customer, vendor, shipper, or consignee.
Correct, correct. Yes. So somebody is listening to the our session properly. Okay, let me just show you. So what Atika was talking about is this partner roles. So correct, yes, you can assign either everything or you can also assign one. Not a problem. Okay, alright. So next question. Explain charge type in charge code. Who wants to do this? Go on.
Charge type. It's hold on.
Okay. Okay. Let me check. Yes, you can log in to the system and let me know. No problem.
It's referring to the service for the charge code. For example, it's haulage. Then the charge type will be haulage or hard.
Okay.
Okay. For if we choose hard, then the charge code will be charged only one, regardless the area
Okay, correct.
for the job.
Yes.
And if we choose haulage, then we can enter multiple areas
Correct.
for the charge code.
Okay. Alright. You are right. So let me just rephrase that again. Okay. By showing you the system. Okay. What Shafika was saying is that, okay, this is a question that I asked you. Explain about the charge type, right? So what she was trying to say is this charge type depends on the services that the charge is for. If it's for trucking, if user prefer to charge your customer hard charges, that means you don't want to quote your customer from area to area. You just want to give one charges regardless from what area to area the person is going to, their truck is moving to. But if it's a transport charges or haulage charges, then you want to quote your customer according to the area pair. That means from area A to area B to area C will have different charges. So I want the system to capture that and put that in my invoice. That's what we're telling the system to do. Okay, so you're correct. Okay, let's go to the last question. Share your thoughts on exchange rates. This one, both of you can share. I will start with you first. What do you think Asolute system is helping you in this exchange rate?
Okay, exchange rate, in my opinion, it's makes our billing team easier to capture the exact exchange rate.
Okay.
Then user don't have to set exchange rate every time create invoice.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Tika, what about you? What do you think?
Of the exchange rate.
Yes.
I think my answer is same like Shafika, just to ease the billing team to quote or to capture whatever exchange rate for their billing, to ease their team, to ease their document also.
Correct. Right. Yes. I really hope that this is what your team is going to experience, because I understand currently freight forwarders, it's not an easy job for them to do their orders whenever they receive from their customer. So instead of every time you receive your orders or your booking, instead of going and keying in and then searching in the Google, it takes a lot of time, and it's not only one orders. It's like you will receive multiple requests in your WhatsApp and your emails. Most of the time, that's what freight forwarders do. So with this, definitely it's just one click away of doing billing. So you can segregate by, okay, billing team, this is the only thing you need to do. Operation team, this is the only thing you need to do. So it's just going to be as simple as that. Okay, so alright, so this will be the question answer session. Let's go into some hands-on before I end the session for you. So each of you have your laptop, alright, and I already gave you the access for the system login. So you can log in into the system, and I just want you to show me how to create this business partner in the system so that I can guide you and you're doing it correctly, and then later on you can go and show your team how to do this in their own login. Okay, so let's try that now. Okay, so maybe I will just see how you guys do the business partner login, and then you can just key in whatever name that you need. Yeah, you can just put in your own name also, since this is test environment, so don't worry about making a mistake. Okay. Okay, so you can also assign all the roles. Okay, just right click and click, yes, and then you can save, right. Oh, you don't have port code. I think your drop down, yes. So you can just select YKG. Yes, and see. Okay. Alright, so it's easy, right? Alright. Shafika? Oh, oh no, part code cannot be empty. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, I think that is access rights online. Just go down and see what happens. This one. Oh, maybe one of your address code. Okay, done. Alright. Okay, one more exercise. Try to create a charge code. Let's see. So business partner you have successfully done. Alright. So let's see if you can create a charge code. A very simple one based on your existing list. You can just try to create one. Okay, so this is the example you can refer, and then you can try to create one. Alright? So let me just assist you. Okay, so just create one. Yes, the naming convention must be correct. Understandable. Cannot use test, then your users won't understand. Okay. Right. Okay. Yes. Save. Oops. Job. Okay. Go by container. Yes, pandai. Tika? Atika, sorry, Shafika. Take comment. And job. Okay. Great. Oh, I also can. charge pattern job. Okay, try to see. Okay, should be fine. Alright, good job, both of you. Okay, the next one. So, how do you feel on creating the business partner and charge code? Easy or not?
Easy.
Is it straightforward or difficult to understand?
Straightforward.
Quite straightforward, yeah? Alright, good. Okay, so question answer is done. Alright, so do you need any more hands on? Do you want to try another one or is it okay? Is it
It's
okay?
okay.
It's okay for you?
Yes.
Alright, okay. So the conclusion for module 1 today is actually in order to use the whole system, right? Okay, I just hope that it's easy for you to understand on how to key in the data, alright, and why it is important to have this primary data in the system. Okay, you need to know that Asolute system is actually a database that is shared across all the users. That means we have this one database and all users who ever log in, they share the same information across the system. So that is why we require like one person to help to input or key in all the master data. We call it master data or you can say it as primary data. Okay, and then with that you will be able to do your next task accordingly. And like I mentioned earlier, it might feel like, oh, I have to do a lot of things, because when I go to other customer training, usually they when we tell them, okay, you need to key in this information. When I say that you need to set up a business partner, when I say you need to do your charge code, the first reaction will be, oh my god, I have to key in so many information. Yes, we have option to help you to import the information, or you can key in yourself. But all that is first time. Normally it's just one-time creation. The moment you have created one time and that's it, you can use the same information until how many years you want to use the system. It doesn't matter. Unless following down the road, you want to change a description, you want to cancel the customer is no longer with you, the vendor is no longer with you, you can edit as and when. So maybe the first time might feel difficult, a bit of effort, but that's how system implementation works. Okay, first time a little bit of effort is required, but after that it will be easy for you to maintain and use the data. Okay, alright, so that's about the conclusion for module 1. Okay, and then you can also go on and read about, if you want to know more about what this logistics of forwarding is all about, what is the business process is, what they do and things like that, I have 3 references for you. Okay, the first one, you can try to find the book for international logistics. Okay, it talks about the management of logistic trading operations. That means how you do the operation in logistics industry overall. It's not only freight forwarding, it also covers for haulage and transport as well, and how the whole business process works, what kind of terms they use and things like that. Everything is covered in international logistics. So if you are doing only freight forwarding, if you want to expand your business, you can go and read under the international logistics. The next book that you can refer to is Supply Chain and Logistic Management. Okay, so this is more on internal process of like supply chain and logistic management. How do you manage your business? And then with this system, you will be able to make your users to understand further of your overall business, and at least with that term, they will be able to use the system properly. Easier for them to understand. Okay, because sometimes some user will not have the logistic background, the logistic knowledge. So you can use these references and then you can also recommend this to your users. Okay, so the third one would be business logistics management. This is more for your management side. This is more for your business management team. So they can refer to this book in order to understand more of the terms better. Okay, alright, so that's about it, and we are done with module 1. Okay, so we have module 2 next. Alright, and we will have a 30 minutes break, tea break. So once after the tea break, I will see you guys again for module 2, and we will continue from there.
Okay.
Okay, is that okay?
Yes.
Alright, thank you so much, guys.